Okay, picking up where we left off, you'll notice down here we have the if player info map row does not equal the actual row, and the column does not the player's column doesn't equal the column. Then we do something. What that is if the player's location has changed whenever they move, then that location is different than what's currently in the database. So we need to update the database. So this is all we're doing is if our get method of row and column is different than our current player's location, then we need to update the player's location so that way they actually move there in the database. But when they move there, being that PHP is server-side language, it's not going to update the client until the refresh. Well, we don't want to have to do a complete refresh again. And one thing we don't want to do is have to query the database again 2 times, for the same thing. So the only change that's made is the column. So I just made it to where the player's row and the player column equals that row and column that they moved, and that takes care of that. The next thing we have is the actual house button, which will be this right here. If there's a house there, if you notice there's not a house here, so you don't have the button. There's no houses there, so there isn't anything to look at. So what we're doing is we're going to select ID special from housing where the player's row and the player's column, if there's anything there, it equals a row column of a house. So if we go back to our database and we actually pull up housing, you'll see quite a bit more in here than what is going to be in your database, because this is from the live database and I'm not going to give that to you guys. But what you will see is I'll leave a couple of these in here. But you'll notice that each house has a row and a column that it's located at. If the player's row and column, which is 4-4, let's say, if it equals that, then yeah, there's a house there. Go ahead and place the button. But if there's not, then you're not going to place any button because there's nothing there to visit. And that's all this code does right here. The special part of it is let's say you have like a ruins or an entrance to something and you don't want anybody to be able to build there. Then all you do is you go into the database, you create whatever that ruins or whatever that might be, and then you take this little tag here that's special and equal it to 1. And that way, if you look in the code, it actually says if the special equals 0, then place the build button. But in other words, if it equals 1, there's no building button is going to be placed. The only thing that I would recommend, and I believe I have it in this code, and we'll check it here in a minute, is people, let's say we can't build in a certain place, this build button's gone. People may try to come up here and fast track it and type in build.php and try to get there. In your build.php at the top, just put if location special equals 1, then you can't build here. Just put a second way that'll stop them, and I believe that I have it in here. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. The chat box I currently do not have activated. This was fixed a lot later in my second version of this game. I left it in here so you guys could go ahead and activate it if you want it. I did not create this shout box. You need to look through the text files that come with it, and it tells you who created it and everything like that. It is free, but it was not created by me. The next thing we have is the creature engine, which I call it creature engine. It's pretty simple. Basically, if the map info, which was in the map database, if the creature name equals nothing, it means if there's no creature there, then we're going to do an encounter. It's going to be a random number 0 through 100. If a counter is less than 90, then we are going to create a creature, and we're going to look for a creature. And if you notice, this actually isn't tied to the database of the creature. So in other words, let's go back to our database. The reason why I did this is because I had not really finished the feature that I was trying to create. But you guys may want to go ahead and put that in there. And what I would do is you notice how creature equals 40. Instead of it making it equal 90 like a static number, make it to where it's less than creature or the map info creature, and then you can actually make these 0 through 100 on how much of a chance that you want a creature to be there. So it's a real simple fix. So if there is an encounter, then we're going to only pick up a creature that's 2 levels higher than the actual player. So then we go through and we pick out a creature, and you'll notice in the database we have creatures. I'll leave my creatures in here, but be kind of tacky to reuse them. I mean, you can reuse a couple of them, but do it however you want. But anyway, you'll see that I have a couple different levels in here of things that you guys can kind of get an example of. But anyway, it pulls the creature, and then it updates the map to put the creature in there. The first thing, it puts the hit points, the name of the creature, and where the creature's located, and it's going to be the same place the player is located. Then we come down, and else if there is a creature there, then we need to go ahead and pull its stats. So then we're going to, in other words, this else is coming off of this right here, if it doesn't equal anything. Else, if it does equal something, then we need to go ahead and pull that and get its stats. And that's all we do right there is get its stats. Here comes the big one. Here comes the really the long one. This one probably take 2 videos. This is actually the map system, and it scrolls quite a bit down here. Let me go ahead and say the map system can be done a lot better. It can be done faster. I do a lot of queries in here. It's a basic system. It worked. We had 300 players or so on it. It worked pretty good, but if you're looking at a couple thousand players, then you may want to come through here and kind of reorganize this and get this a little faster. And if you do get it faster, I recommend you don't have to, but you post it on the website on how you did it or whatever else.